Dear students, today we will be studying quadratic equations. Now, what are quadratic equations and how do they arise? See, there are many real life situations in which we come across quadratic equations. Let us take one example. For example, if we have a square and its area is given to be 9 square units, we want to find the side of the square. Then how do we denote this by an equation? We can denote the unknown side by the symbol x, and because area of the square is given to be side square, so x multiplied with x gives us 9, that means x square equals to 9. So this equation is one of the simplest form of the quadratic equation. We can see that degree of this variable x is 2, therefore it is a quadratic equation. Now, second example, if we want to know the dimensions of a rectangle whose length is 2 meters more than the breadth and area is 80 meters square, then can we represent the above situation by an equation? Yes. Let us take breadth to be x meter. Let us take breadth to be x meter, and because length is 2 meters more, so the length will be x plus 2, and area of the rectangle is length into breadth, that is length multiplied by breadth. So x into x plus 2 equals to 80, or simplifying we are getting x square plus 2x minus 80 equals to 0. So we have represented this equation, this situation in the form of a quadratic equation. Now how we can represent it generally? In general, if px is a quadratic polynomial we have studied in the chapters of polynomial, of a polynomial of degree 2, that is ax square plus bx plus c, where a should not be equal to 0, a, b, c are real numbers. Simply by equating it to 0 we get a quadratic equation. So ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 is the standard form of a quadratic equation, where a, b, c are real numbers and a should not be equal to 0. A is the coefficient of x square, the degree of the variable is 2 here. So now, because we have framed the situation in the form of a quadratic equation, what thing we are most interested in? We are interested in finding the unknowns. How do we find the unknowns? By getting a solution. So in this chapter we will be dealing with how to find out the solution of a quadratic equation by framing it. So solution of quadratic equations we have already studied in the lower classes. It can be by factorization, and one more method we are going to study here, it is by using the quadratic formula. So let us move to the solution of the quadratic equation. It means, first of all, how many solutions a quadratic equation can have. Like a quadratic polynomial can have at most 2 real zeros, a quadratic equation can have at most 2 real roots or solutions. So how do we denote this? We denote this if px is a quadratic equation and x equals to alpha is a root. So it should satisfy, alpha should satisfy this equation. So it is denoted by writing p alpha should be equal to 0. Let us take one example. Px equals to x square minus 3x plus 2 equals to 0, and let us check whether x equals to 2 is the solution of this equation. So in place of x you are going to write 2, x square means 2 whole square, minus 3 multiplied with 2 plus 2, 4 minus 6 plus 2, that is 6 minus 6 equals to 0. So yes, on placing x equals to 2 we are getting the answer as 0. So x equals to 2 is a root of the equation. X square minus 3x plus 2, x equals to 2 is the solution of this equation. So you will be given questions in which you have to find out whether a given value of x is a solution of this equation or not. So simply you have to put the value in place of the variable and see that if the value comes out to be 0. Moving on. Now, how do we form quadratic equation? As we have discussed in the examples, like we have a question here, the product of two consecutive positive integers is 240. Formulate the quadratic equation whose roots are these integers. So let the two consecutive positive integers. What are consecutive positive integers? They come, one comes after the next, that is 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. 5 is the consecutive integer of 4. Similarly, 6 comes next to 5. So, if we want to take two consecutive positive integers, if we denote one by x, then the second one will be obtained by adding 1 to it. So, it is clear to us that the two consecutive positive integers are x and x plus 1. Now, what is the second thing given to us? It is the product. Product means we have to multiply these two integers. So, x multiplied with x plus 1 equals to given to be 240. Now, let us simplify. X into x will be x square, x into 1 will be x. So, x square plus x equals to 240. Writing it in the standard form, that is x square plus x minus 240 equals to 0. So, now we have formulated a quadratic equation whose roots are the given integers. Now, for the second problem, we want to formulate an equation for a right triangle. Now, right triangle, some dimensions are given to us. Let us see what are they. The height of a right triangle is 7 cm less than the base. The relation is given between the base and the height. Hypotenuse is given to be 13 cm. Now, form the quadratic equation to find the base of the triangle. So, let the base of the triangle, it is not known, let it be x centimeter, and height of the triangle, because it is 7 cm less, so it will be x minus 7 cm. Now, right angle triangle, we know that Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square equals to perpendicular square plus base square. So, 13 whole square will be equal to x minus 7 whole square plus x square. So, now simplifying it by using the identity a minus b whole square. First we have x square, first term is x square, the second term x minus 7 whole square means a square, x square plus b square, that is plus 7 whole square 49, and product of these two with 2, that is minus 2ab, 2 into x into 7 is minus 14x. Now collecting the like terms now, 2x square minus 14x plus 49 minus 169 equals to 0. We are getting 2x square minus 14x minus 120 equals to 0. Now taking 2 common, we have x square minus 7x minus 60 equals to 0, or simply x square minus 7x minus 60 equals to 0. Now the thing we were talking about, that we are most interested in finding out the unknowns or the solution of a quadratic equation. And as we know that it can be done by factorization method. But here we are shifting to a process of whether we are going to find out real roots, real solutions. Means how do we check it by real roots? We have to look at the coefficients first. Always in all the questions you have to look at the coefficients. A is the coefficient of x square, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant term. So we are interested in this discriminant. What is discriminant? It is denoted by D. Its value is b square minus 4ac, and all the solutions depend on this values. That is why it is called discriminant. It is going to decide whether the given quadratic equation has real roots or no real roots or equal roots. So in the first case, if it is the value comes out to be greater than 0 or it is positive, then you are going to get real roots. If it is equal to 0, then also you are going to get real roots. And if it is negative, the value of b square minus 4ac is negative, then there will be no real roots. So let us take one example of this. Suppose we have to use factorization over here, x square plus 6x plus 5. Now first step, we write the coefficients. A equals to 1, coefficient of x square. B equals to 6, coefficient of x, and constant term is 5. So C equals to 5. Now discriminant is equal to b square minus 4ac. Let us find out. So 6 into 6 minus 4 into 1 into 5, 36 minus 20, it is 16. Alright, it is positive. So definitely we are going to get real roots. And what is the method of factorizing it? By the method of splitting a middle term. What is that? We look at the coefficient of x square, it is 1, constant term is 5. Now we have to multiply 1 and 5, and get the factors of 5 such that when added or subtracted, they'll give us the middle term, that is 6. So 5 has a factor of 5 and 1. So we can write 6 as 5 plus 1. So x square plus 5 plus 1, x plus 5 equals to 0. So it will be x square plus 5x plus x plus 5 equals to 0. That means x multiplied with x plus 5, taking out common, and here 1 is common, so x plus 5 equals to 0. These two factors should be equal. So we have two factors now, x plus 5 and x plus 1 equals to 0. So either x plus 5 equals to 0, that gives us x equals to minus 5, or either x plus 1 equals to 0, that gives us x equals to minus 1. So this is the method of factorizing. You will be practicing many questions based on this, finding the solution and finding the solution by factorization method.